and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters and live from Cologne. We are almost at the end of day one of a two-day spectacular weekend of League of Legends. We've had 3 of our 4 matches today. Our last one is coming up very soon. But while they set up, we've got some spare time, which is awesome, because that means it's time to check in with some Russian friends with Shocks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul. I am joined here by both Edward and Alex Ish of Gambit. And well, I think I speak for a lot of fans here and I say we're very happy to have you back in Europe, Edward. How's your time been like since you've been back?
The most important thing for me is like my home, my family. I enjoy staying in my home, playing from home. The a little bit like small problem is like time difference, but I think it's not like big problem. So I think I like Europe, I like Russia, so I'm happy.
Getting back used to it. And Alex, how has it been having Edward back on the team? Feeling good after that win, I see.
So I'm really happy that we got Edward back, and like we're really good friends. I was very upset when he left our team, but I think that we're getting stronger now because like when he was leaving we got problems, and now most of the problems are solved. So I hope that it will be much better now.
All right, I'm going to come back to that in just a second. And I'd also just like to ask you, for the longest time we've seen in the media, the Gambit was like, no, Edward is not coming back. He's not going to be back on our lineup. When did you know that Edward was thinking of coming back?
So we were not sure of like if Edward is coming or not. I think that he got some offers from European teams, so we were thinking that he's going to some EU team. So like we're pretty sure that he doesn't want to join Gambit, and like when we were doing with him like 1 week before announce, I think, or maybe a bit more, Edward was like the offers were not that good, and he said like why not to join Gambit when I said to him, and he said like why not. So it was something like that.
Was it purely for you something about offers and money, or was it something else, and did you realize, hey, I want to go back to Gambit because they're essentially have been my friends?
It's really like hard to choose team because you don't know the players. I mean, what they're thinking about, what they want to, and they also have to speak English. So, like speaking Russian is so much easier, and you just focusing on game, not talking what to say in English. So, I guess Russian team is the best team for me, and Gambit is the best.
Okay. Now your English has improved a lot. Of course, you've spent an entire year over there in NA Acres. Was there ever a moment? When did that realization come that you wanted to come back to Europe?
I don't know. I just tried to play in NA. It's really hard actually for Europeans, also for Russians whose English is not that good. But I think I don't know. It's like I just instantly when I went in 2 weeks, I like, damn, I want to back. Instantly, I just finished the season and back.
Okay, well, we're happy to have you back, as said. But of course, I have a quote here from you. It's from 5 months ago. It was an interview with GameSpot, actually. And you said, Cop likes communication more, and Genja doesn't. Thus, it is better for me to play with Cop. Now, you're back here. You're back with Genja, and we know that you've said that all the problems have dissolved. But are you not afraid that they might come back?
Did I say that Cop liked more communication? It was true actually, but Genja is like talks so much more, and like he liked to play with me. I guess we were playing duo queue even, so I think all problems is gone, and so we can be like best duo queue bottom in Europe.
Okay, well, I'm gonna extend that question to you as well, Alex. Are you kind of wary and think, well, what if these problems come back, and what would you do to prevent them from coming back?
So I'm not sure that they can come back at all. I mean, Genja has become much more talkative than he was. So, like, I think that everyone in our team grew up. It's like 6 months passed. In our age, it's a lot. I mean, 1 year, around like 18 to 22 every year is like very, very strong. So I think that we will do our best, and like if we won't lose our skill, then I don't think that we should have any problems of that matter, like because everyone understands that we want to win and we're tired of kind of losing. So I think that we will do our best now.
Yeah, and everybody remembers, of course, that huge period of domination in Season 2 where you guys won everything there is to win. But then there were sometimes these times that Gambit would just not show up, even though you could. Have you lost that habit now? Is it now straight eyes on the prize, always trying very hard?
I don't know, it's like hard to say. Always we play practice games, we're just losing like 90% of games. But we're coming to tournament, like we're doing less mistakes, or I don't know how to explain that, but we're playing so much better. So I think it's try-hard mode is online all the time when you're playing here.
Try-hard mode and the Ziggs versus Oriana matchup in that second game versus the Red.
So I'm pretty sure that Ziggs wins the matchup versus Ariana all the time. So like I got some problems with overextending and jumping like between the turrets, but most of the time I feel that Ziggs is really strong and underrated hero. So I think that we will see him much more now, especially when Ariana and Gragas will be nerfed. And as for like our pro mode on when we're playing in the tournaments, I think it's in the same with Fnatic, at least like what people say, that they don't try hard that much in scrims. So when we're scrimming them, it's just like the throw games. And I'm not sure why this happens, but most of the time, sometimes that happens to us even at LCS, because there are so many games that we can't try hard like every game. But on the tournaments like IEM and so on, we just play so much better.
Yeah, we know how important IEM is to you guys. You were on that stage in Katowice last year. It must have been an amazing moment. How much do you want that to happen again?
So this time we don't want to be like losing every game in the beginning and then have like 26 minutes win.
It's a great story.
So, but overall, I would say that we win every tournament that is on BenQ monitors except Hanover. So, I mean, that's really funny that we found it out that IEM is like we always do that promotion thing, but still, I feel so much better playing at tournaments than playing some kind of LCS system, because you don't need to travel every week. We prepared pretty much, though I a bit lost my English skills because I wasn't talking that much. But I think that tomorrow will be a really interesting game against Cloud9, and I hope they won't be affected by jet lag. And we will see how they improved.
Yeah, that is going to be my final question to you as well, Edward. What do you think of that matchup tomorrow versus Cloud9?
I know it's really hard to say what they're gonna play, because a lot of changes, like after Worlds, and most of the champions got nerfed what they played, like Zac, Nasus, or I don't know, a lot of champions. So it's gonna be interesting to play. We need to prepare. The most important thing is like champion select. So we need to think about what to ban and pick. So I think if we do that properly, we can manage to win.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Alex and Edward. And as for us, we're going to be heading over to Paul and the guys for the preview of our next matchup.
Thank you very much, Shocks, and thank you to Edward and to Alex as well. Always great to hear from the two guys, especially with all the changes that have gone on. And they've made a change, of course, but it's more of a change back to the way they used to be. You heard them talking about Katowice. That is the end goal for our teams at the Intel Extreme Masters in Season 8. The World Championship final, no less, will be taking place there. I'm now joined by Joe and Jason once more. I nearly forgot your name. No, I didn't really.
You remembered one key fact about me.
Just teasing. I did remember one key fact.
That I'm tall. Blow up dolls or what?
Well, I don't think we should go
about
there.
being 7'9". Okay.
8'3", I think he is now. Anyway, less awkwardness. Let's move on. Brackets of the quarterfinals. We've had one of them already, as we saw earlier on. Gambit really cruising through that game, 2-0. On the other side of the bracket, we now have CLG. I mean, they mentioned, like, yeah, how are you going to play against that tomorrow? But we don't know yet because they're not through. I mean, let's be fair, they're not through. Let's take a look at the CLG lineup in just a few moments. That's going to come up on your screen. We'll go through it. Let's talk about the Americans. Let's talk about how cool it is and exciting that we've got the Americans over to play in an Intel Extreme Masters and go head-to-head with all the top European teams.
Yeah, I said this earlier as well, that, you know, at Worlds we did have that battle, but it wasn't quite... it didn't quite live up to the hype, I think, that everyone wanted to see. We're going to have at least Cloud9 versus Gambit tomorrow. CLG obviously still have to overcome Team Turquality Blue. So it's not going to be an easy game for them. They, I hope, have rested up nicely. And we all know how much of a pain to these teams, you know, the whole debacle with travel can be and jet lag and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that's gone for them, and we see the practice CLG that they've promised us.
Yeah, they have, and they have. Double Lift earlier said, they've practiced like heck. Jason, let's take you through the lineups, if you wouldn't mind. Just take us through the five-man lineup as they appear right now, and the changes that they've made since last season.
All right, well, as you can see, we're going to have Nian Tonso in that top lane. Trix, who's actually coming in his first tournament here with CLG. Link in that middle lane. Double Lift and Aframu as the bottom lane for CLG. And the bottom lane of CLG, Double Lift and Aframu. We've seen it before. I love their whole combo that they run. Aframu, I remember doing an interview with them a long time ago for one of my YouTube shows I used to do. And he's such a hilarious guy, such a fun guy to really talk with. And he's a really fun guy to play with. And I think that alone with Double Lift kind of gives him a little bit more of an edge in his lane when he goes up against anyone. And I'm really kind of scared to see who goes up against that, because Aframu is just so damn good on any champion he plays.
Okay, Joe, your expectations of how CLG match up against this particular team in this particular matchup? It's a tough one, though, because we don't know a huge amount about our Turkish friends.
Well, the thing is, a new lineup, technically. They said that they've practiced a hell of a lot for this one, a heck of a lot, sorry, to use the right words. But we never quite know. It's still going to be a bit of an unknown quantity coming in. They are massive favourites still for this one. But Team Turquality, for me, they've got no pressure on them whatsoever. No one's expecting them to win this game. And that's where you can pull off the biggest upsets.
Yep, let's show you the lineup on the screen and go through those players. As we said, they came through the qualifiers, and Turquality Blue, there's also a Turquality Red, which they defeated in the qualifiers, which sort of threw us a little bit because we also had the red come through as well. So it was all red and blues going on for a little while. But yeah, we don't know a huge amount about them, but talk about what we do know about them, Jason.
Well, we do know that in the qualifiers, they pretty much ran over every single team they played against. They even beat their sister team, Turquality Red, who beat DP, Dark Passage, which we saw back at DreamHack in the first week of LCS of the Summer Split, who lost to Copenhagen Wolves at the time. And DP is a really good team, to be honest, and that kind of gives you a little bit of insight into how good they can be. But the real question is, can they go up against CLG, who's like this renowned, legendary team from North America?
Do you... but this is a question to both of you, I guess. Do you think that anything other than, a bit like we said about SK in the amateur tournament, is anything other than a championship win at Intel Extreme Masters a disappointment for CLG? Have they come to conquer and win?
Well, obviously, these top teams always want to win. Anything less than a win is always going to be a disappointment to them. But as we heard earlier on from Alex, who said... at the end of the day, if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. This is good practice in a tournament setting against great teams. That kind of experience propels you forward. Sometimes losing is, more used to you than actually winning, because you can really analyze what went wrong in you for that one. But don't make any mistakes. CLG are here to win.
Yeah, and obviously they're on BenQ monitors, so that automatically means that Gambit Gaming win every tournament, according to Alex Ich anyway. Thanks, gents. We're going to take a quick break from the pre-match desk and head ourselves over to the commentators for our second and final quarterfinal of the day. Hand you over now to our chaps who are going to enjoy this one. It's D-Man and Crepo.
Thank you very much, Paul, Joe, and Jason. So, Counter Logic Gaming, the American Giants, I think we could say, the original champions. They won World Cyber Games 2010 in Los Angeles. That was the original tournament.
Very renowned sister team as well. With
they had a small sister team. That,
CLG Black.
Of course, CLG Black.
Who else would we be talking about?
Which actually, Aframu is from CLG Black. There was... Who else used to be a Link? Link was from there as
CLG
well.
Black is like spread out. The
yeah, Zuna, yeah. I mean, they're all actually in LCS teams now, which is, ironically, when it came together, what they were meant to be top players from the amateur scene. So, mission accomplished from Hotshot GG. So, speaking of Hotshot GG, anyone want $1,000 to go visit their house? No takers.
Well, actually, let's be honest. At first glance, it may seem
did they charge you $1,000 while you were there?
For me, no, actually, no.
Because you had those wonderful bed covers.
We got there. Actually, Hotshot took care of us very, very well. All bullshit aside and all trolling sometimes. Hotshot's like a totally legit team owner, and I have like so much respect for him. So, and maybe just like very vivid CLG fans that would want to pay the price just to live with Double Lift. I can tell you, like 2 days on a desk, I miss him already.
After being around Worlds with him for a month, I can tell you that's not a privilege I'll be paying for anytime soon. Nevertheless, look at the teams right there. It is Team Turquality.
Quality from Turkey.
Quality from Turkey, exactly. I spoke to the team earlier on, and it's safe to say they're not overly confident about their abilities up against CLG, so they're not coming into this one with the greatest of faith, but they did absolutely decimate the Turkish opposition to get here. They were such a strong team throughout. Nobody came close to them, and they actually had a few interesting picks in there. There was a Katarina and Lysandra in the same team. See how that one works out, whether they're going to maybe pull something like that out to upset CLG.
If you play with resets, you can win any game. It's so dangerous to snowball, and as well, CLG traveled here. It's getting pretty late in Cologne. Maybe there's some jet lag kicking in. You never know. Like, every team is always in comfort zone until they start playing, and then the fatigue might kick in. And if they are on a pro level, they might snowball those advantages and still take CLG down. Of course, CLG is the top favorite here, and everybody's looking for them to win, but they still have to do it.
Yeah, Nien on your screen back there. And he's a player that's been around esports for a very long time. He used to play World of Warcraft a long time ago as well. So he's been a professional in the scene. So, traveling for a long period of time is something that these guys, I guess, have excelled at. And you think of Double Lift, he's been around the world, been everywhere. These guys have a very experienced team that have come together. But I think for Link, for Afromu possibly, and for Trix, this is probably their first visit to Europe. This is their first time that they've come across to the European scene, to actually come into our land. So often they've been facing off against yourselves as you go over to the tournaments that take place in America. Yeah, they've never had to deal with this jet lag. Maybe this is something new to them. Maybe coming into an environment that doesn't even speak English. That's another thing. Obviously, we do in the studio here, but outside of here, when they're in the hotel, going to the restaurants, etc., around the place, they're eating German food, speaking German language, or not speaking German language,
as we all do here. But yeah, generally, like, it's a little bit of change of pace for some of them. I feel definitely we're gonna be watching Trick, see how he adjusts to playing what I believe like his first competitive match for CLG. I'm not even sure if he played competitive in the past. I believe not, or maybe very long ago.
Yeah.
So let's see how that works out. They're obviously a new team, but they've been practicing. CLG took things really seriously. From what I could talk with Kelby and Double Lift at World Finals, their regime was pretty strict. There wasn't too much of a break like other teams took. I mean, some members of Cloud9 took a well-deserved vacation to go hiking in Vietnam. I believe Hai even went there with Lemon Nation. So Fnatic is rumored to actually not do too much in the past few days. They went on a little holiday. Meanwhile, CLG was practicing really hard, and same could be possibly said for the team Turquality, because they're an amateur team. They're hungry. They want to win that game. They are the underdogs, and they can get the upset.
How good is that, though? The mid laner, he's got a Fnatic mouse pad. So clearly fans of their opponents.
Channeling their inner
Maybe he could get the team to sign that for him. I don't know. That's his mouse pad. In that he's been using Fnatic mouse pad. There you go, question mark, even in the chat. But we're just sorting the teams out to join in the right order. Double Lift, he's renamed himself to Rush, and Afromu is Our. So they're calling themselves the Jackie Chan.
Well, you're not sure, is it? How can you know who's the Rush and who's Our? Maybe Afromu is tired of supporting Double Lift, and Double Lift's been benched to support.
Well, Afromu did used to be an AD carry, and a very good one.
And Double
Lift
Lift used to be a support at one
he
point.
did. He was support when he first joined CLG.
Exactly. So they may have just switched it around.
I'm pretty sure they haven't, though.
Yeah, let's face it, they haven't.
I'm
not.
Pretty sure the Chris Rock and Jackie Chan combo is going to be the correct way around, and you know what I'm saying there. Link in that mid lane, a player that some questioned, I think it's safe to say, on COG. Personally, I think he's a great player.
I've seen some moments of brilliance.
Aggressive enough?
I don't know. He'll have to feel comfortable. I've seen Link do some really damn good things in the game, and he's shown his mechanical prowess throughout like many games. He's fallen short sometimes, but they've been buckling up. They've been practicing really hard. Hopefully, they fix their communication issues so they can finally unlock that unlimited potential they all own there. And I'm looking forward to see the new CLG.
That's beautiful. What I'm reading in the chat is like Team Turquality is asking CLG for a picture after the match. That's nice. It's touching. But you guys, you're in a competition. You're here to win. You're not here to just come and take photos with the team.
To be fair, in the European LCS, we'd often ask like, so are we going out tonight? Grab a beer, regardless who wins.
Oh, but that's just because you're all together in Cologne. But this is very different. This is a Turkish team moving into a North American team that's come over from Los Angeles.
Well, they will want to have a picture of CLG's faces after they defeat
Maybe
them.
Scott's after a picture there as well. He's with Afromu. Maybe he's asking for Afromu's autograph.
Or fixing his PC.
I think that's probably more likely. I think he's giving him the login, actually. He's getting them to change rush hour because Double Lift is now joined. So that Scott, the referee's laying down the law, making sure they use the correct names in the game client. So that's what the delay is right now. That's why you're staring at the faces of Team Turquality, because CLG are delaying us.
So
This
we will
is
never
nothing
know.
new. This is nothing new for CLG. They delay us so often.
We will never know who was Russian. We will never know who was our. But yeah, they'll have to rename and get into the game. But CLG after a delay is a stronger CLG, as we all know.
CLG after delays. So for those that are unaware, and I'm sure everybody at home is quite aware of the situation.
We don't know.
that
Esports
happened.
growing.
CLG EU, aka yourself, when you were in
And
Evil
4 other guys,
Geniuses,
I'm not my own
and 4
team.
other guys. Yeah, you can't be one man band. Had an 8-hour,
a wee bit of
an
delay.
8-hour delay on the one day, but actually technically turned into like a week delay. Well, 3-4 days maybe, wasn't it? Something like that.
Very interesting experience. It actually
Interesting.
conditioned me so far that whenever we actually had a pause that was roughly 30 minutes, I'd become like fully zen, you know?
I don't think there's any matches that I've actually had a T-shirt made up for.
Yep. that
Other
just-
than that
I
one, that was the
survived.
only T-shirt where I survived the World Elite versus Counter Logic gaming match. But there is the trophy, or a picture of.
Trophy. Close enough.
Actually has Moscow 5's name down on there. We've just saw them in the guise of Gambit Gaming, which they are now known as. They are through to play Cloud9. That will be tomorrow morning. And of course, the winner of this match will be going through to play Fnatic. So some big games potentially for tomorrow, as well as the amateur finals, which is... I was about to say SK Gaming, but unfortunately they got
it's Copenhagen-
2-0'd by
Copenhagen
Copenhagen
Wolves.
Wolves. They're going to be up against Ninjas in Pajamas. That will be also tomorrow. That's going to be a best of 3, an interesting best of 3, and of course the grand final to roll out the day. We don't know who's going to be there yet.
No, we can guess. There's actually still
You
a lot
can
of
guess.
still a lot of question marks. Like what Fnatic is going to show up, what CLG is going to show up right now. How will they equate? Like, is Gambit going to be motivated to bring down the Russian powerhouse and send back the boys to NA, or is Cloud9 going to come in and sweep them?
Do we know what shape CLG are in right now? Do we know sort of have we heard too much? I mean, I've seen
Well,
Nintendo
Doublelift was
Direct
very
exposed it.
confident.
Oh, Doublelift's always very confident.
I was about to say that may not be as good as an indicator, but they have been buckling down. If they followed up on their regime and their schedule that Kelby was laying out for them, partly with Monte Cristo being the coach from
Of course,
Korea.
this is Monty's team. This
This is
you know,
Monty, and
this is
I know
effectively
Monty
reflecting on Monty right now.
And I know Monty very well, and he does. He wants to win.
He wants
his
to
team
win. He wants this team to win. It is a potential lineup, that's for sure. They've got potential to do stuff. And honestly, I think in this tournament, with everybody taking the breaks after Worlds, everybody going off on holidays and relaxing, any team that comes into this with form has a potential to actually win. You know, it's quite easy.
Completely agree. Like every team either deserves or doesn't deserve, or takes a break. Whether that's good or bad, we can't be the judge of that. Maybe they need it, maybe they don't. But some of these teams that didn't go to Worlds, for example, CLG didn't go to Worlds, they capitalized on that gap by just practicing really hard and really early. And we saw like last year as well, coming into the summer split, some of these amateur teams, or this year rather, some of these amateur teams coming in, they were so hungry to win. MYM took the European LCS by storm. People just weren't ready. They were so hungry. They wanted to play, and everybody got a little maybe complacent, got a little used. And then there was the unconventional teleport strategy, and who's saying Turquality can't do the same with, as you said, with Katarina coming out, maybe some resets. Like people are not used to deal with that stuff.
Well, it's a possibility, and they certainly had good results. And they themselves have said coming into this one that they're not very confident. But how do they really know? I mean, do they really know how they match up against CLG? The
You never
CLGs
know.
of this world, you never know. They could actually be thinking, oh, we're only just an average team, and then they come up against one of the pro teams, the dinosaurs, effectively, the originals, Counter Logic gaming alongside Team Solo Mid, are the two effectively starters of the pro scene in League of Legends. And how are they ever going to know until they actually test their abilities to their best, rather than coming into the saying, hey, can we have pictures? Which is great, don't get me wrong. It's great sportsmanship to like to see that. But how do they know? If they're not going to come in with the best, coming in with a winning attitude?
Same time, I mean, you can respect your opponent. You can be a big fan. I mean, this is maybe not an exact comparison, but like we went to Korea. We played the finals against the Zubu Frost back in the day.
2-0 up, I believe.
2-0 up, and then something happened. I don't know quite recall, but that's not the point of the story.
The owner was good, though. That's what counts.
Exactly. But then you play against a player like Mad Life, and even though you're super serious and you play at absolute best, I still giggle like a schoolgirl because he was shaking my hand with like a lot of respect, because Mad Life is God, and you can so much respect a player and one maybe a picture afterwards as a memorabilia, but you'll still give your hardest. There's no way you're gonna give anything less than your best if you're meeting players that you absolutely respect.
Yeah, and if anything, like I was just talking about that with Red versus Gambit, there's a team that they're gonna respect, gonna know, the biggest team in Russia by far. It's a team that maybe...
And no pressure.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are complete underdogs, so there's no pressure on them. They just like play, have fun. actually, to be honest, I thought their top laner did very well. The guy that played Kennen in Game 2 and Shyvana in Game 1, I thought maybe it was just down to Shyvana, but did just as well on Kennen in Game 2. So there's potential there of new players. And speaking of new players, this is something that I've been noticing probably the last few weeks as I've been watching OGN. The amount of new players that keep coming through, the talent that keeps rising through in Korea, out of nowhere. Whereas we look at the European and North American scene, I feel it's getting stale because it's the same players all the time. There's no superstars. Like a Faker suddenly hits the top solo queue and sure enough he shines in a top team.
Then again, for us, Faker's coming out of nowhere, but I can probably assume in Korea, Faker was already known to be a godchild for quite...
But that's only through solo queue. He's not in the pro scene. What I'm saying is we haven't had a guy, say, for example, topping out the Challenger Series in Europe or North America and suddenly a top team takes a risk, picks him up. No teams are willing to take risks, it seems, to take these players on.
Well, we do see quite some reshaping of some rosters, and then there's, some sort of recycling with old pro players, which is not necessarily bad. Players could not form well in one team and could thrive in another, for example. We're waiting for people to show their worth in solo queue first, because that's where it all begins.
Yeah.
And then just grind their way up. As esports gets more established, there's more of a goal for doing so. Like 2 years ago, it was a risk. Doublelift, for example, took the risk. We all took the risk going to CLGU.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as we keep getting the LCS more supported and more as like a stable environment, it actually may just give the chance to more uprising talents going through.
Yeah, I think the Coke Challenger Series is definitely going to be an interesting format for that, whether we're going to see teams rising on through. I know a lot of people have been talking about JWoww as well recently.
Exactly.
So we're just waiting for both teams to get ready. Yes, the picks and bans are about to get underway. So let's actually talk about those. What are we expecting? Are we expecting to go with the standards? Blitzcrank banned out. I was not expecting that.
Standard, Demon. What are you talking about? Turkish meta. I have no idea, actually, but it seems to be like a target ban or a respect ban for either support or a...
They didn't play it in the final, I know that for sure. Maybe the little research I've been able to get on Turquality, but he's like, no, shaking his head straight away. So clearly something's happened there.
This is an advantage. How do you research a team that's not that well known? You have all the research you want on CLG. You have their tendencies. Some of them even stream. You have like their past pro picks. Okay, they're very versatile in their champion pools, but who knows? Turquality might be the same.
Well, Udyr also being taken away. Vayne, of course, taken away. Not letting Doublelift get on those Vayne mechanics, which he gets going so often with. Another pick. Are we expecting all... No, we're not. We're expecting proper picks and bans. It is going to be Annie taken away. I was about to say all respect bans, I was wondering here, but clearly not respecting the Annie.
Annie is just a really strong support right now. She shines in a lot of situations. 2v1, 2v2. She's a really strong kid, good engaged. There's one counter to it. Let's hope if somebody ends up picking it up. Or what I believe to be a counter or a band-aid at least to solve a lot of the issues, which is Leona. I feel like a Leona with hard engage could deal with it, but we'll never see it. And he's banned.
Will we see Nian playing Shyvana? He is available.
Jinx pickup. Is this interesting?
First pick for Jinx.
Is Jinx that contested that both teams need it? Or does CLG have a strategy to revolve around actually Doublelift? I get it. Doublelift's gonna split push all day and then just shoot Super Mega Death Rocket to actually join the fight at the other side of the map and perhaps...
Well, it's CLG.
It is CLG.
You know, without Hotshot there, they've got to have someone to split
Doublelift with a twist, rather.
This is more the picks I was expecting. A Thresh Shyvana, so that, you know, once Annie Renekton's taken away, we are going to see that Shyvana, very, very strong champion like now. I've been banging on about that all day, but I can't underestimate it enough. What are we expecting CLG to react to this?
Maristia Zyra coming out, does okay on the Thresh lane, has disengage potential for Jinx, who lacks a gap closer to get out of the fray, has CC potential. We've seen SK Gaming in the amateur scene done his lane a lot, rather. Very potential zone potential. Basically, they force each other in the different zones. Jinx will zap you. If you juke it, you'll get into the snare, follow up with the traps, and then the Super Mega Death Rocket.
Well, we do see Elise has been banned fairly heavily throughout the day, actually. Now I can think about it. It was taken away in both Gambit games. Could get picked up there. Will there be a support maybe to follow?
CLG not sure. Looking for the early mid pick. Orianna is a rather safe pick.
It's a standard pick for Link as well.
Standard pick. General consensus on the answer for that often is Gragas. It's not exactly a counter, but it does well against Orianna. We might see it here again. Double displacement. Shyvana Gragas can knock your entire team around. Maybe if CLG relies on position, might be a good call.
So Ezreal, another potential. We saw, I believe it was Ezreal that Doublelift got his pentakill in the All-Stars with Ezreal a long time ago, but we'll see how Killer Ez. Whoa! Draven. That I wasn't expecting.
Well, yeah, it might work. I mean, Jinx is relatively immobile. If Draven can actually close in the gap and keep catching his axes and then just hammer on his face, or well, axe on his face
Axe
rather,
on the face.
then it might work. Another displacement actually coming out from Draven, so we might see some CLG pinball here, whether that works or not.
Well, alongside Thresh, they got a potential to just keep hold of that target. And like you mentioned, no easy escape for the double lift other than the flash. But looks like Aframu will take.
Say Lulu gets picked. Hypothetically, look, or it has been picked rather. Look at the lineup from CLG. Do we see a certain trend emerging? Some AD carry with a, let's see, a defensive steroid on health for the support, a shield,
horror.
a shock horror. Yeah.
So COG, they may be a different guys without Hotshot GG, without Chowster in there, but sure as hell they're still playing the same old way.
We don't know. They might just have a different adaptation of it. I mean, it's not a bad comp.
Actually, to be fair, they need a tanky frontline if they're going to do that.
And you called it. But anyways, like Gragas can burst down people. Shyvana can jump on a non-gap closer AD carry. It's really good for CLG to answer this with the steroid from Lulu. Does well in lane against Thresh actually as well. Orianna is just a safe pick mid early. Provides a shield, provides a follow-up with the ball. Doesn't actually have like any ball transportation systems like a Shyvana Orianna combo would go. Generally could speed up Nasus to get into the fray. Maybe not really.
Throw it on Elise, maybe leave
Elise repel, but doesn't really sound like all too synergistic. But Orianna is just a strong champion.
One thing's for sure, you can have a really big Nasus in there with the Lulu regrowth.
You can. Lack of hard CC on purple side team right now. If they pick up Riven, it's another actually like a stun, because Gragas has like a slow from body slam. He has displacement, but displacement is a little iffy. Target stuns are generally easier.
Switch to Rumble. Rumble, a champion that's been still played by in Korea. Actually, really surprised we don't see a great deal of it in Europe right now.
But we're not done. We're not done yet, Demon. They might switch to Kha'Zix, and they go. As we said, resets might be the way for them to win this game. We saw JWoww do phenomenal things already on Kha'Zix, and he got big countered because he walked into the rock that is Zoro Zero. But definitely a strong pick or dangerous pick.
So this to me, I'm seeing basically Turquality are basically saying, okay, we see what you're doing. You're going for the full-on protect the double lift comp. So therefore, we're going to dive you. They've got a Shyvana going in, a Kha'Zix going in, possibly Belly Slam launching in there, everything going in towards double lift. Is that the way to go?
That might be fight fire with fire comp, but they have other ways to run this. Gragas has an insane amount of wave clear. So he can definitely hold his ground on a lane if he gets a little backing up from his teammate. Shyvana, once CLG engages, can just jump in and push them back. Kha'Zix, he can just go around the fight and just pick his target and pick them off and get a reset. I mean, Orianna, if she gets bursted down, can get quite squishy. I mean, Lulu is a good counter. I think Kha'Zix into Lulu is pretty dangerous. If Afram was on top of his game, he'll throw out the Whimsy. He'll throw out the knock-up to prevent Kha'Zix from landing, coming from his from his ultimate right there. So that's definitely CLG has all the tools they need to work with. Definitely to see if Turquality is gonna take it home there.
Well, we will see what they do. They're looking happy just to be here, I think, at the Intel Extreme Masters in Cologne, a trip to Germany from Turkey. It's actually not too far away, to be fair. It's not too different compared to the Atlantic travel that Counterlogic Gaming have had to experience. All staying in a similar hotel and experiencing the delights that are Cologne. It's actually a city I've learned to really love, honestly. You spent yourself a good season here as well. Enjoy the delights of Cologne, or do you just stream all day?
I stream League of Legends.
You do stream League of Legends all day, don't you?
I have to.
It's too much fun. It was hard work just to get you in here the other day. But we are about to get things underway, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Intel Extreme Masters here in Cologne. It is the second pro game of the day. Gambit Gaming already 2-0 over the red after a pretty much entertaining match. Good luck, have fun. Kick ass, don't die, and don't suck coming out from Nien. And Ahmet is agreeing. CLG as the blue team. Counterlogic Gaming, the Americans visiting against the Turks of Team Turquality. What do we expect here in level 1? Will we have a full-on charge into the bush? They will. They're going to throw the hook out and not land it, though.
So CLG could have caught them face-checking there and caught Turquality red-handed, and instead they decided to back off. Maybe they feared the all-in potential from the lineup. A lot of damage coming out to Turquality. Not too much CC, but if all damage lands on one target, with a hook, it might be enough. At least respect, you know. They're not baiting out the face check. They're respecting their opponents, going for the stable early game.
Well, we see the blue buff coming out from blue buff wards coming out from CLG, but honestly, actually, Turquality haven't gone for any counters of their own. Normally, do see the teams sneaking in. It's like, you're going to ward our blue, we'll go ward your blue. We're going to go red, we'll ward your red. But they haven't done that. They've simply got one in Banana Bush, one in River. And that is it.
Yeah, they blew 2 wards on a relatively small patch of vision, leaving their flanks completely open. They did do a double ward mid on top of a Gragas, which is pretty interesting. I mean, why would you overprotect the Gragas, which is generally good at escaping? Hopefully he's going to use those wards to exert a lot of pressure onto CLG's mid lane. Shyvana not known to gank as early. She is starting on red though, which is pretty interesting. Might go for a surprise gank on bottom. Shyvana getting lanterned in by Thresh on level 3. Surprise gank ending up bottom might be the good plan, but CLG sees that coming with the ward, so we'll see what happens.
Did they get spotted in the bottom lane? You saw them sneaking in. We'll see whether this works out. COG going in. Oh, they both show themselves, and they both go standard lane. So, this is your lane. This is what you know. What do you see between these two?
Right now, it's a war of pushing the lane first, because whoever pushes the lane, you need an entire wave, and then 3 more melee creeps to get level 2. Problem is, you can't push a Jinx with rockets unless you contest it. Thresh got poked out by Lulu, which is great. They catch Aframu right here, though.
That's a good hook, but straight away the Glitter Lance on towards Killers. Good support from Double Lift there, keeping his AD support alive.
Double is almost out of mana, but doesn't matter. He won the push ward. They know Shyvana's location. They poked Turquality pretty much down, and Turquality didn't respect the push coming out of Lulu and Lulu Jinx lane. You're not going to counter push that. Not with Thresh Draven, unless Thresh starts E and E's the entire wave. But he started hook earlier, so they know they cannot win, and I think they just didn't respect the push enough. And they're going to pay the price.
Already paying that price. They're losing CS here. That's another one going to the turret. You can see it's 10-3 already. Double Lift versus Killer. And at the moment, it's a big advantage that's only maybe going to grow stronger. But Draven, once he gets going, once those axes start spinning, he should be able to wipe out anything pushing towards him.
And look, it's desperate position. Shyvana coming in with the lantern, but counter gank.
Counter gank straight away. The Ignite should be enough to take down the Thresh. Meanwhile, we do see Theocles trying to come in, but it's Aframu that picks up the first blood.
And that's all about that damn blue buff ward. We saw Shyvana coming. They knew it, and they played it nice. They didn't change the lane behavior.
Oh, they're sticking around. Theocles in trouble now. They're going to go in for another one. He's had to try and get away from this one. Aframu's going to follow through. Theocles is going to turn around, tries to flash back in towards it. Double Lift's not having anything. Throws the rocket back at him. It's another kill.
CLG's not even letting me finish. But anyways, they didn't change the lane behavior. The counter gank they predicted the gank from Shyvana. They saw her coming. They counter ganked perfectly. Baited her in. Thresh with Lantern and Hook has nothing else to offer. And this is CLG snowballing already.
Snowballing, pushing hard on that bottom turret. And like you said, this is all developed from that very first level 1 engagement. Going full on aggression, not respecting their lane opponents. And speaking of respect, look at the top lane at the moment. Nien, 21-13 on Kha'Zix. That's not really a lane that should either be... It should be fairly even, to be honest, if you ask me, but it's just Nien just bashing out that CS.
Look at all across the map, CLG pushed the waves in because they knew exactly where Shyvana is. Shyvana doesn't offer that much threat early, and if you know her location, you can just push because you know she won't be around your lane for quite a while. Just CLG drawing aggro again to bot lane. As we said, Rush Hour, Aframu and Double Lift doing really well here. They draw the aggro from the jungle. Trick reads that pretty well. Counter ganks, and CLG just sets the pace for a great game.
Theocles trying to put a bit of poke down on towards Link. Link not really having any of it on Orianna. He's already got the jungler coming in to support. Is he going to go too deep here, Theocles? I was just wondering, Trix is ready and waiting to pounce on Elise, but instead he chooses wisely to head north and maybe have a look towards the end.
And this is so sad because Turquality's level 6 combo could be quite lethal. Kha'Zix with evolving and Gragas having the slam right there.
Well, Nien is a bit too deep here. Is he going to get caught out? He's already backing away. He has got Wither available should he require it. He's going to have Shyvana on him as well. The Ignite's going to get used. He flashes onto the tower, but it may be too little too late. And that's going to be Thaldren picking up the first kill for Turquality.
And that's exactly what they need. If they want one guy snowballing, it's Kha'Zix. They need the resets. They need the damage coming out. Surprise jump from Kha'Zix. Could turn around a fight, but look at Double Lift in the bot lane with double buff already. It's 5 minutes into the game, commanding CS lead. What are they going to do to deal with this?
It's not good giving Double Lift a double buff. That's nope. Not really what you want. Gragas has returned back to lane, and he's keeping up. He's the only one that's keeping up a little bit. Link's still with the 10 CS, but that's only because Ahmed did just go back, so he'll gain that back in a second.
And if we're getting into the nitty-gritty of bot lane, right now it looks somewhat to be able to be dealt with, but they're pushing now. Thresh and Draven are pushing, and Double Lift is just letting them push, taking one minion at a time, making them push, and then at one point he's going to stand behind his creeps and duel them together with Aframu, and then that's when Thresh and Draven are going to be in big, big trouble.
Yeah, Aframu just placing down that ward. They know he's there. They've got that tri-bush. They're going to see Theocles going around there any second now. He's going to be sneaking past. Walks close enough to the ward that he gets spotted. Should have stuck to the wall on the right-hand side if he wants to sneak in towards that bush, I believe.
Definitely always walk around brushes if you can. You never know whether they're warded or not, especially against a team like CLG. They're basically they're reading Turquality like a book here. They know they're ahead in bottom lane. They know they're about to freeze. The only counter to that is get your jungle to group with you and push in the wave. He's trying to gank, but he's not even pushing it in. CLG might actually pull off a freeze here.
Yeah, well, you can see actually Trix is nearby. He's on the golem, so I wouldn't be surprised if he pays a visit, throwing out the lantern, throwing out everything he can, but his jungler had already left.
I mean, generally you throw out a lantern and walk forward just to bait people to back off, but if you use your spells and they don't really connect, then you have cooldowns, and Trick knows that. Yeah,
Trick knows that already. He's already gone to position. Thaldrin trying to go aggressive on towards Nien, but Nien just keeping that Q stacking. He's building towards the Sunfire Cape. Thaldrin getting very aggressive, gone early brutalizer there in that top lane.
Yeah, has to burn through any armor that Nien starts buying, because otherwise it's going to be an uphill battle. In bot lane right now, they did back off. Trick didn't get the gank off. Perhaps Aframu and Double have changed the lane behavior to a lot more aggressive. We can see that already. They have a way more aggressive stance right now because they know they win the 2v2, and they're just gonna deny as much CS as they can.
Well, they're going to try and get the blue steal on here. Trick's already there, Link's with him, but we do see them both passing by a ward, so they know completely that they are here. Barrel comes out, has to use the smite to make sure he secures it. Tricks. That is going to cause a problem for Link.
Yeah, but it's the correct play after all. Smiting and contest is always worth it. Just don't give your blue buff to your enemies. Niente's still roaming down though.
Yeah, he roamed down, but it was warded out, so they managed to get in there, but it's Tyrese that's going to get caught out once again. The Ignite is going to pull him in. Is it going to be enough wards on Aframu? Yes, it will be. It's Gilla that picks that one up, dodges out of double lift shots.
That was great usage of the hook there, combined into the flay with the driven displacement, basically pushing Aframu over and over into that turn, going for a 1-for-1 kill. Pretty good still, but Jinx still has a trade potential to out-trade Draven right there, so they're still not in a good spot.
And Double Lift continuing to keep that CS snowball going. 63-38 now in that bottom lane. It's starting to become a bit of a gulf in class right now between the AD carries. The self-proclaimed #1 AD carry of North America. And he'd like to say the world, but I don't think he's that confident. Meanwhile, Theocles is going to jump across. Nien's going to be the focus target. Hasn't got flash available this time around, so he may well go down. Thaldrin will pick up the kill. Can they get him towards Trick? So they're just going to fire off those void spikes and walk away. They're happy with that kill.
Looks like both junglers have the same idea at the same time, but Theocles was level 6 already. Trick's still sitting on level 5, and even if he was 6, at least wouldn't really matter that much. So the better 2v2 Google coming out of Turquality, and Kha'Zix with another kill. We might see this turning around even.
Well, the gold advantage is actually with Turquality right now, despite the fact how bad it's going in that bottom lane. It has to go bad in the bottom lane because Double Lift is the carry. He's the man for COG.
Well, he was. Hopefully the other people are going to step up because a one-man team is not going to carry it anymore. And we've seen that in the past already.
Yeah, we've seen him try and we've seen it fail. We'll see whether it works out this time around. They're going to keep on pushing though. They have got the BF sword now on Double Lift, so the damage potential from Jinx is pretty enormous. But I am surprised to see COG pulling this one out.
It's definitely interesting to see Turquality's at least fighting back. You know, they're not giving up. Okay, they had some bad stuff happen to level 1, mainly because of the blue buff ward, but they're still, their top lane is confident, and this might give them motivation to the bot lane to hang in there, because if you know your team got your back and they can get you back into the game, you got to play on.
Well, you know, a fed Kha'Zix can be a very scary beast, especially
as Jinx.
For an AD carry. Yeah, exactly. Shockwave pulled from Link there, misses, and well, Theocles feeling confident, just walked out, didn't use the flash.
Yeah, definitely the burnout speed from Shyvana is what makes her such a strong champion. I mean, she has the massive displacement when going in. Looks like Rag is on a blue buff, but we see Spider approaching.
Yeah, he's going to try and get the blue buff, but instead he backs away. Was a little bit fearful there, the rest of CLG going in towards the Dragon. But well, I'm not too sure that Turquality should be contesting this one. They're going to maybe try and use that explosive cast to try and contest it. They do catch on the hook on towards Link there. The Tyrese is taken very low. Super Mega Death Rocket goes in there. Trix follows through, manages to sink his fangs in towards Tyrese and takes him down.
Might be enough to slow him down though.
It may be enough to force them to back away here. Theocles in there. Teleport coming through though. That's going to be Nienton, so that's going to spell the end of this one. Explosive Cask is the only thing they can try and use to steal. They got it out. They got it. Shyvana with the smoke. We see the blades coming across. Nienton so taken very low. They're going to have to be forced to back away from this one. COG looking to get away with their lives here.
Well, look at that. Turquality with a man down, taking an advantage. Teleport drawn from Nasus top. Kha'Zix was already pushing. This was a gamble for TLG. They needed that Drake, and then Theocles just mans up and just goes in for the smite with the aid of Gragas. You saw Gragas even go into the fight to help his buddy get out there. Draven, perfect dancing on the edge of the fight by Turquality there. Okay, they had a sacrificial Thresh who didn't really get his flay off. But yeah, he died. He ate the rocket, but he stalled him long enough for Shyvana to come back. And yeah, he outsmited Trick, and that was pretty damn well played by Turquality.
Very well played. A tower and a dragon quickly snowballs that gold, 1,000 in their advantage. CLG switching the lanes round. You do see the AD carrying support of Afromu and Doublelift heading up there. Thaldrin is going to find Afromu. Afromu, you've got to be careful. He could just get nommed right now. That's a pickaxe and a brutalizer on Thaldrin. He could go down before Doublelift gets a chance to react.
Yeah, but he has Whimsy and has his knockup from his ultimate, and Doublelift generally is on top of his game. If their synergy is as good as they claim to be, they will be ready for that. Look at Afromu though, investing in an early Oracle's Elixir when Turquality is actually not warding that much, showing a lot of respect for the opponent. Maybe too much on the warding front.
A lot of damage from Doublelift being poked on towards Thaldrin. The support already on the way up here. It's actually going to go head to head there. You're going to find Afromu. Afromu already backing away. Also, Theocles joining the party in this top lane. Trix comes in. It's a 3v3. We're going to see the play going down. His Doublelift is going to be the target. They need to put a lot of damage down towards him. If Doublelift goes down, this could turn badly very quickly. It's a 2v2. The box comes in. They get a good slow on towards Trix. Theocles wants to get the damage continuing. He uses the burnout to try and chase on towards it. He's got Amastal coming around the side, but Link is there as well in support. They can keep on throwing the barrels. Amastal, he has got his classic available. Not going to throw it out though. Instead, just uses a standard barrel. He could have got the kill there.
Nah, he was maybe scared of a repel coming out or still like some defensive steroids coming out from the CLG team. Actually, the really sad part was that Thresh was level 5 when that engage happened, else he would have caged in Doublelifting immediately. Kha'Zix maybe wouldn't have dropped, but he actually got the level up, got his box a little later, but that was a good attempt. Doublelift getting caught there by Thresh, good backwards flay, Lantern connecting, everybody jumping Doublelift, and it's just exactly what Turquality has to do.
And that's actually bought the time for Draven Killers to get some farm going. He fell so far behind, but you can see he's turned it down. Blue buff being taken away now by Turquality, and he's also using that Thresh Lantern to back away. Explosive cast, but Nintonso bounces in towards him. Amastal hasn't got...
Great hook.
What a great hook! Link getting caught out here, has to use the rapid growth to try and keep him away there. Instead, Theocles now trying to get away from this. Thaldrin's going to back away as well. Nintonso's going to keep on turning through this one, but they can't pursue. And Turquality, well, they are showing some serious quality here because they are 1,000 gold up and they are actually starting to go for some steals.
And in the meantime, the gold might swing if Draven ends up taking that bottom turret. At the same time, Doublelift is pushing top tower. Let's see if Thaldrin and Theocles can defend that.
So we'll see. Nen is going to go down there. This is actually another issue though. Their top lane has been left alone. Thaldrin is going up there. I'm not too sure he's going to be able to deal with that. That's going to be a turret going down. And let's not forget, the end's on Nasus. Nasus will get really incredible later game. The problem is, can they work around him? His slow is going to stop one of them, but that's a problem because it's going to be Draven or Kha'Zix. You can only pick one. The other one is going to have free reign on your AD carry.
Well, Kha'Zix doesn't really get hindered too much. Okay, mobility-wise he does, but he still has enough damage coming out from his spells that he doesn't really care about the attack split. So Draven, same, he's throwing axes. But actually, I'm just actually really impressed by Thresh as well. Yes, he's been missing some spells, but Greg is going in the mid.
All in, explosive cast being thrown out there. Draven coming in around the side. Thresh there as well. Super Mega Death Rocket missing. Great hook in there along with the flay. They're trying to get in towards Amastar. Wants to try and pick up a kill. Not going to get it. Now Trick's in trouble. You see the axes continuing to throw out there. Afromu comes in. The chompers from Doublelift keeps them away. But it's Doublelift that went down.
And this team is working so well together.
Link.
Yeah, Link went down. Doublelift survived that bound. He used the Super Mega Death Rocket. Didn't connect for a kill. This team is trying to save each other. Again, Tyrese playing really well. Another hook.
That hook's going to land. It's Afromu that's now going to get caught out. Tyrese going to flash away. Trick's taken low. He's going to repel. He's got to land somewhere soon. Will he? Ulti come out from Draven. He's not going to catch him. While this is all happening, I've got to point out, Nien is continuing to push the bottom lane. Oh, Thaldrin taken so low by Doublelift there.
Dan, Tyrese missed a few flays here and there, but his hooks are spot on. He's playing a really damn mean Thresh, and his team is doing a great job of following up on his engages. These guys are not afraid to risk something. You saw, like, under the tower, like, I wasn't entirely sure if they were going to make it out alive, but they're playing aggressive, and that's really great to see.
They are going to be gaining confidence right now. They're coming into this one thinking, oh, we are rubbish, guys. We got no chance of beating you guys. And suddenly they're thinking, you know what, guys? I think we've got a bit of a chance here. There's no reason we can't go up head-to-head with these ones. They're only one tower down. They're heading goal. They're equaling kills. Why not give them a game?
Yeah, but they're losing tower pressure though. Mid tower is already half HP. If we look at the other side, it's a lot higher on CLG side. Their bottom tower is still on complete full HP, mainly due to Nintas constantly pushing down bottom lane. So the gold might swing in CLG's favor tower-wise, but at the same time, it will only equalize what we have, and that is actually good news for Turquality.
Well, 30 seconds on that Dragon, and it's Turquality that are warding it out there. Double pink wards being used out by Tyrese. Tyrese coming back in towards that mid lane. Link needs to be careful he doesn't get caught out once again. Blue buff will be picked up by Gragas just before this fight begins. So, if anything, Turquality are going to be the more prepared for this Dragon fight.
Yeah, they know they can't really get the towers right now, so they need to focus on neutral objectives like buffs and like Dragon. They ward up beautifully with a pink ward. They don't waste Oracle time just yet. 2 pinks is enough to cover that area, and they really need this Drake though, because else CLG is going to get back into this game.
Well, they're going to lose that mid turret, I believe. Link's just shoved the wave in there, and there's not enough hit points on it to fight it off here. Just off the side there, Trix is thinking about going in. Look at Link. Link's taken so low. They're going to have to use the grappling growth to try and keep him up there. Thaldrin did put enough damage on him. Explosive cast gets thrown out. That's going to be the extra. Can they get on towards him? Link's taken low. Double lift's taken low. Daframu's taken cold out the side. Aframu will go down. That's one. Can they get on towards Trix? No, they can't. The Turquality should be backing away from this fight.
For the rocket.
They're taken down, but it's another hook. Trix goes in there. He throws the box down, but he's too deep. Just up the side. Nien's getting on towards Aframu. Oh, it's another one. Kha'Zix is down. This is all turned backwards for Turquality. They took their chances too deep. They delved too deep, and that is a triple kill for Double Lift. That is not what they wanted in that fight.
Damn it, Turquality. Such a well-played team fight at the start, but just the greed at the end, and this is what I meant. They're taking risks, but Thresh flashed in, tried to go for the 1-for-1 on Elise. Was a great idea. Play backwards, box. Kha'Zix comes in to reset, but Trix, he won that fight with that repel. He didn't give Kha'Zix a reset. Meanwhile, they were waiting for him to land. Draven was stuck in the middle, and who was left alone, auto-attacking everyone? Double Lift. Yet again.
Once again, all on his own, gets himself the double buff. He's saying, thank you very much, 5-1-4.
He won that fight with one great flash. He got barreled backwards from Gragas, flashed out immediately, and then Turquality gave into the greed, and they lost that fight horribly, but at the same time, they're only 700 gold down, but they lost a lot of pressure.
Lost a lot of pressure, and that may well be a disheartening fight for them, but as you said, it was greed. If they knew the position of Aframu, they could easily have got around the back of him there, but instead, Theocles backs away, was just taking a peek towards the Baron, and steps away from this one. So, 4-1, middle inner turret going down. The game has turned on its head. COG, despite the fact it's only 100 gold, are massively behind in terms of tower pressure.
Yeah, CLG playing this really, really well. It's something actually I talked earlier with Joe as well. If only League of Legends had this like pressure meter to show like which team is exerting so much pressure on the map. Because it's CLG right now, they were behind. Yes, they were behind in gold, but they had the turrets. Turrets lead into vision in your own, like if you take down turrets, they lead to aggressive vision in the enemy jungle. That allows you to get picks, possibly buff control later once the 20-minute mark hits. Nashor will be able to be contested.
Absolutely, and well, now the red buffs may well going to be contested. They're going to try and chase this one. All right, Trix tries to keep Theocles, trying to keep him away, but Trix instead just like turns it around, gets the rest of his team in there. The barrel will find them all, and they will back away. Chose not to go too aggressive for that red. So, what are we seeing? Where is going to be the next point of contestation?
Well, actually, Turquality is running into an issue right now. They don't have anybody that can deal with the Nasus split-pushing menace that is Nien. Because he's basically on the bot lane shoving in. Okay, Draven can maybe clear those waves perhaps, but it's really not enough for him. Nasus will just regen up. He's really damn tanky, and they're having issues with dealing him. Because we have to remember, like, if Gragas is not around to hit the Nasus, all his armor is going to pay out. So he's going to pay out dividends against the Kha'Zix and the Draven.
Just wrapping myself up in cable, don't worry, at the moment it is going to be Turquality backing out the wrong direction. Trips is going to find down there. The cocoon does land on towards Amistar. He's going to go down. He uses the explosive cast and tries to belly dash away, but he's got nothing else. And Trix takes that one away from the double lift.
Looks like CLG doesn't like double lift getting a kill. Could have actually got him another kill if he got this passive up there.
And he's not going to get this one either. He's going to get blocked off. Just a game by Theocles, keeping his support alive for a few moments longer.
Imagine if that rocket hit, Jinx's passive would have procced a super speed boost, and Double could have had an extra kill there, and another one. That's the way Jinx works. One after the
Trix.
Scumbag Trix.
Scumbag Trix blocking it out there. Now they're going to go in towards the Baron. They realize they've forced the team away. They can see Thaldrin is down in that bottom lane. This will be a really Baron for free for CLG, and as you say, really quickly done.
Nasus with ulti combined with Elise does so much damage on Nashor. Double F's all the Gatling gun just stacking over and over and over and over again. Is really, they have a really strong Baron attempt. uncontested, so it doesn't even matter for them. But they can actually, in the next parts of the game, rush Baron really quick.
Uh-oh, Theocles completely out of position. He's going to get Whimsy down. You can see he has to use his ultimate to try and get away from this one. The rest of the team using that speed boost.
He might get baited.
And now actually may well get onto this one. No, they will step away. Honestly, I don't think Turquality can even contest this tower.
If anything, Rule will just use their ulti to try and interrupt Shyvana mid-flight, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Killer's getting caught out with the cocoon there. Not going to follow through on this one. Theocles' ultimate will wear out in a moment. He's desperately trying to put that fire down, keep everyone away from it, but they are losing hit points on their own tower here.
They need Gragas to clear those waves mighty quick, because otherwise it's not going to be enough. They're just too damn tanky. They have too much poke.
Gragas trying to sneak around the side. You see Draven throwing out those spinning blades, trying to keep everything clear in that lane. They have bought themselves a little bit of time, but I don't think it's going to be long enough. There's not really any pressure. Look towards the bottom. That's going to even itself out. The middle, that's pretty even as well. But of course, with those turrets going down, it's actually CLG that are keeping that pressure on. So, Turquality, CLG just need to play the waiting game here, surely.
Yeah, Gragas needs to be in the middle of those waves, clearing them. Thresh needs to land the hook. That's all they have, because they have Orianna poke, Cocoon from Elise.
Explosive cast was used by onto Aphromoo there. Aphromoo giggles about it, but unfortunately for them, they're beating down that tower. Turquality need to back away quick. Void Spikes were landed very well. Great static shift coming out from Double if they're trying to get into the shot onto all 5 members, and now they're backing towards the inhib turret. I don't think CLG are going to keep the siege going.
They could, potentially they could, because Gragas ulti is down. They don't really need much more as an invitation to go in. Nasus can tank that tower for ages. They have so much poke. Zap, Orianna follow-up. They have disengage. They're in a perfect position. Cocoon follow-up as well. They might rotate to another lane to draw them away, but they have all the tools they need to take down that turret.
Well, those blades are back. That's going to be the shockwave. Theocles trying to buy out as much time as he can, but he may well cost his life. Has to ultimate away once again, but this is an inhibitor turret that's now going to go down. Counter Logic Gaming starting to drive through their advantages. 22 minutes in. We saw it with Gambit. They got a 2-minute inhibitor. We're going to see the same from the Americans. Counter Logic Gaming in control against Turquality.
Yeah, definitely. We see the experience from CLG kicking in. Kazi jumping in.
Oh, baited. They left Neon on his own. He's like, yeah, come on, jump at me. He's going to quite happily take that one. Even Trick survives, gets the growth on towards him. Tyrese take him so low. He's going to go down. Doublelift gets himself a rampage and gets blown into the team. That's not what they wanted. He's going to start keeping the damage going. The rockets flowing on towards them, and CLG, they may turn take this and push on.
And as we're talking about experience from CLG, it just shows that Turquality, they're trying to chase a loss, and you don't chase a loss. You regain your senses and you try and make a pick.
Tell that to gamblers.
Yeah, exactly. That's like in poker. You don't chase a loss because it's just going to cost you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, CLG this time may well have bitten off more than they can chew. This time they will have to actually back away properly, and Counter Logic Gaming will do that quite happily. They've still only got a 4,000 gold. Gold terms, it's a close game. Pressure terms, CLG 6-1 ahead in turrets. An inhibitor down, it is theirs to win.
And they have a siege composition, although
they're still going in.
Theocles might go for the steal again.
Well, he landed the steal before. They've got the cast, they've got the steal smite. Why not continue on there? They've got the explosive cast. Doesn't even get the smite steal. Theocles going to get caught out here. He's going to go down. Feed them a kill, feed them the dragon. Anything else they want, they will take.
You see this a lot with a lot of these amateur teams or not as experienced teams coming in. They're really great when getting ahead, but they falter when they get behind. And it's a sign of a great team that fights back when behind, because they know exactly what they need to do, which vision they need, how far they can overextend, which picks they need to make. Turquality is just desperately trying to cling on, getting a pick on CLG, but CLG is driving this game. If they want to get caught, they'll get caught, but if they don't, they're just calmly walking away. And this is the experience showing off CLG's squad.
It's funny you mention that, because that's exactly what we used to talk about Meet Your Makers. And they got ahead when they took the towers down early. They knew exactly what they were doing. They did really executed it well. The moment they didn't win that early lane phase, which this was pretty close, they just suddenly start thinking, faltering. Decision making is just not quite there. Few wrong errors, and that's sometimes all it takes. I mean, I remember Alex is talking about the Korean teams, like they don't make problems. When they do, you have to capitalize, otherwise you're not going to win.
Yeah, definitely. Every player has had that before, and you just have to learn from those mistakes. And winning is easy, but losing is hard. As cliche as it may sound, you can come back from some games, but you have to wait for your opponent to make a mistake, and you can't force it upon them, because then it's going to make it easy.
Oh, with on to Amma. Amma's going to have to use the explosive cast, but the Zulu catches on. Shockwave, everything used. That's the mid laner down. There's no explosive cask available. They can just push on through the mid lane.
Who's going to stop Nianton, so? Who's going to stop Doublelift?
Nobody. He's gone straight for a Trinity Force as well. All he got was just that simple shield in there, and he can just plow on through Nien, just beating down. And those Qs will be doing massive amounts of damage. In fact, I'm going to just double check now, see how much he's pounding away on that. He's getting extra 150 on top of the 110 that he's getting, as well as the, that was another little bonus I missed as well. Put us on top of the 222, so he's hitting those turrets for about 500 every Q, so he's pounding them down along with double F2. Well, you can see he's got himself that Guardian Angel now. He is secure. Counter Logic Gaming will be securing their first game. So, what did Turquality do about this? They actually looked good at the start, and they held the gold lead for a short period of time.
They can learn lessons from this game. Yes, play aggressive, but conservative when you have to. And that's basically what's hard about League of Legends. When do I go in? When do I go back? When do I respect my opponent? And when I just don't give a damn about him. And it's really hard. And it can be as close as one barrel. It can be as close as one flash flay. Like, we saw the support Thresh being so fundamental in so many one fights, but this one time he overreached, bait his entire team in, and he died. Is that bad of him? No, because if he never takes a chance, he will never fail anyways.
Just a little
Going
itch
for
of
flash
greed, and once again trying to go for the flash hook, but instead he gets caught out by the chompers. Super Mega Death Rocket goes in there. Shockwave is available still, but he's not even going to be needed. Though Link manages to get himself a second kill. They push on through for the final inhibitor turret of the game. Those big beaten down shots from the Entonso in the front loaded damage. He's taking everything down. CLG are pretty low on health, but they can keep on pushing through. They've got super minions with them. They're going to go on towards the Nexus turrets here and potentially close the game out. As that's another kill. Obliterated indeed. Amma's doing what he can to try and protect this one. Wither's doing enough to slow him down. Barrel's rolling out, but you can't stop Doublelift when he's this fed. 7-1-9 is Doublelift's score. He's going to be happy and confident AD carry after this one, but it was closer than it seems in the start. That barrel would have killed him. Nevertheless, Counter Logic Gaming, they pick up their first game. It is a best of 3 though, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, against Team Turquality. Looking good towards the end, Counter Logic Gaming, but it was actually Turquality's aggression that backfired on them.
I wonder if we're going to see Shyvana again, because he was actually pivotal in creating those early game leads where they ended up countering ganking each other 2v2, and Shyvana just being the stronger duelist early than Densei and Elise, especially with that ultimate combining with Kha'Zix. If they just take out the risk from a strong champion like Shyvana snowballing and potentially getting resets from a Kha'Zix, that could be enough for CLG's methodical approach, experience to kick in and just take the game home.
Fantastic stuff. So, Counter Logic Gaming showing that they have the exact same style they've always had.
Well, maybe if it's not a bad style to have, as long as you execute it properly.
Exactly. And, you know, they've executed it very well against Turquality. If they to get through to Fnatic, would they be able to do the same thing?
Well, they still made a few mistakes getting caught out, and Turquality got a gold lead, so they definitely have some things to work on, but they also had things working for them. Nasus was a really good pick here. He ended up pushing pretty well. It was really tanky. Trix generally was at the right place at the right time, often not as strong. Maybe he should focus a little more on farming or respect the dual possibilities there, because they actually went for some 2v2s and ended up losing them. But at the same time, we saw at least communication coming out from CLG. They were helping each other. This wasn't just a double lift show. Their Link played pretty okay on Orianna as well. They had a good composition. There was thought behind it. It all made sense, and then they just took the game home once they got a small advantage.
Well, in terms of first-time experiences, I could think against a game called Team Turquality, a team you've potentially not heard of. It's probably a nice way to break you in. When I think back to, say, Voidal, he came up against, what, Fnatic in his first game for Gambit. Do you remember your first game?
My first game?
Or first on LAN game, I guess.
On LAN game, yeah. I was somewhere in France and actually didn't perform too well. Nor did our team. I was in Poitiers, I believe, or a little Paris Games Week even. I'd even before my CLGU days. And it's definitely an experience. It's not what it is right now. But yeah, they played well. I just hope they just learn from these games. And both CLG and Turquality can take a lesson here. The only thing I have to add is, yes, you say playing against a team like Turquality might be easy, but it actually punishes you harder, because if you make mistakes against a team like Fnatic, people can expect that. But if you somehow lose or make mistakes against people that you have never heard of, that might be a little discomforting.
It's going to be a bit harsher on you. We're going to take a break here, ladies and gentlemen. After this, it will be Game 2. Counter Logic Gaming versus Team Turquality. Don't go anywhere.